from the TED talk I was talking about the other day. It was the lady was talking about masterminds, or actually the guy was talking about masterminds, and how if you look at where's my pen? If you look at the dependency of life, this is, or we'll do it more proper. This is time, and this is people's dependency on other people. And what happens at the beginning of life, right, when you're 0 years old, so this could be even in years. This will be 0, this is 100. Here's what life looks like in terms of dependency. Is it starts off, you become really dependent, right? And then as time goes on, you become less and less and less dependent. As you become an adult, you don't become dependent at all. And then as you get older and older and older and older and older, you start to become more dependent again, right? Like this is the cycle of life in terms of dependency. Is at the beginning, you're the absolute most dependent when you're a baby. And at the end of life, you become the most dependent again. And so there's this idea that it takes a village to raise a child. Some of you may have heard that saying before, it takes a village to raise a child. And the guy was arguing that it also takes a village to raise an adult. And that is that it's weird if you look at this period of time, this is when most people spend their time alone. It's also when most people find themselves in the most mental illnesses, when they find themselves struggling, when they find themselves in the midlife crisis. And it is for this idea that they try and isolate themselves from people, from society, from etc. And he went on to talk about how there's lots of different groups, etc. And whenever you find yourself in a group, you find yourself at peace. He's talking about even AA, right? Some of you may have heard of this term AA, Alcohol Anonymous, something like that, right? This idea where random people of all different colors, races, genders, ages meet up and they sit together, perhaps in a circle, and one by one they'll go and they'll share things. Maybe they'll share a victory or they'll share a struggle. And the community as a whole comes together to help these people out. And you have this sense of belonging, of brotherhood, of almost community here, which is something that so many people lack because, as you can see here, in the middle of your lifetime, you're alone, right? In the beginning, right, you're dependent, you have your family, right? You have your mom, your dad always with you, and you have your preschool and your teachers and all these people, right, with you always being dependent. And as you grow up, you start to isolate. And the guy went on to explain this idea of masterminding, right? This idea of AA and so many other groups is something so many people miss out on, yet is one of the most important things. If you look at any success story in the history of life, right, you go look at Apple, right? Or you go look at Microsoft, or you go look at, Michael Jordan, right? If you look at all these people, from the front facing, you see, oh, Apple. What you don't see is Steve Jobs and Steven Wozniak. There's two. And what you don't see is all the investors, all the employees, etc. Right? In Microsoft, it was Bill Gates and I forget the other guy's name. Michael Jordan. It was Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and his coach and his teammate and this and this and this and that, right? I'll tell you this, I've never, ever in my entire life read a success story or an autobiography on any successful person where it only mentioned one person. There's actually a few books behind me, one on Warren Buffett, one on Steve Jobs, one on Donald Trump. In all those books, they don't just talk about Steve Jobs, Warren Buffett, and Donald Trump. They mention a plethora of other individuals at which a lot of them actually accredit their success to. Right? You talk to a lot of these guys and they say, I would never be where I was today if it weren't for this and this and this and this and this person. And if it weren't for this teammate and that person and this and this and this and this and that. And so it's weird because we look at these success stories and we just see, right? We just see the one person at the top. We see Hermosi at the top. But you don't see it's Hermosi and Layla and their entire team, right? And their mentors and their group of people. Right? We're so quick to just see that there's somebody standing on the top of the hill, but what we don't see is that they're not alone. And there's a ton of other people standing here, they just don't get the light. Right? They just don't have the spotlight shining on them. But the thing is, they're still there. And it's weird because looking back, way back in the olden days, this idea of community, of brotherhood, of tribe was so prominent. I mean, even if you just look at wars, right? Like a war in and of itself is a group of people coming together to fight for something bigger. And in this day and age, it's almost been like, it's almost looked down upon to be with people, right? You hear all the time, oh, every man for himself, me against the world, blah, 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 blah. All you hear is this idea, we'll say this idea of you should be alone. You should be alone, you should be alone, you should be alone, you should be alone. But go look at the people that are alone. You'll notice they don't actually really achieve much. Look at any person you look up to. Look at them. You'll notice that you can't do much alone. Right? If you watch my latest video about trying to buy a McLaren, you notice that if I want to buy myself a nice, sexy, we'll just pretend that we can pretend for a minute, pretend this is a McLaren. Okay? It looks more like a Cybertruck. We digress. Okay? Even if it was a Cybertruck. Let's say I want to buy this Cybertruck. Everyone talks about 10K a month. Right? As 10K a month being perhaps a lot of money. Which, in rightfully so, it is a fair bit of money. But here's the thing. Let's say you want to buy a McLaren. We'll pretend this is our hypothetical McLaren. 120K a month is 120K per year. Okay? Now, depending on where you live, you're going to get taxed. Some places more, some places less. Let's just say you end up with roughly 90K after tax. Okay? So this is before tax. Okay? Make it very clear. But now you have expenses. Okay? And so I don't know how much money you spend, but a lot of people, right, if you have to pay for rent and for food and for insurance and other things in life, right, miscellaneous, and travel, you start to spend a good bit of money, right? So maybe your rent, depending on where you want to live, is 2 to 3K. We'll just say 3K, right? Your food maybe is 1K. Your insurance is another 500. Maybe your miscellaneous is another 1K, and your travel, we'll say, is 1K, right? So I do the math here. That's 6.5K. Right, so that's 6.5K per month. Now, granted, you're living pretty good doing this, right? Like you're living a good life, right? You're not being reserved. You're eating good food. You're going out. You know, you're living your life, rightfully so. Okay, and so this is 6.5K per month. Now, if we do the math, 90K, 90 divided by 12 is 7.5K per month after tax. And if you spend 6.5K, you are left with 1K per month savings, which would be 12K per year. So imagine you want to buy yourself a McLaren, which costs 400K. Or you want to buy yourself a Cybertruck, or a Porsche, or a Lambo, or Ferrari, whatever it is you want to buy, or a Bugatti. If you saved 12K, so if you made 10K per year, and you lived a pretty decent life like this, right? 12K, granted, assuming you even could make this on your own, you'd save 12K per year. So if a McLaren costs 400 grand and you want to buy a McLaren, you would have to save up for 33 years. And you would then spend all of your savings, every single penny, to then buy this McLaren outright. Now granted, I know you could obviously lease it and this and that, etc., etc., etc. I understand that, right? But if you just look at this, it would take you 33 years. So let's say you started working at 20. By the time you're able to buy this McLaren, you'd be 53. It's weird. Right? Now, granted, this isn't my only example of community, but even this idea of cars. A lot of us have this idea that we want to buy cars, right? When you look at this, you notice, holy shit, the car I want takes a lot more. And so the point I'm trying to make here, and granted, go look at life dependency, go look at success stories, go look at the car you want, go look at whatever you want. The point is that now more than ever, especially in this world where we're fighting this idea of the matrix, you need people around you. Okay? Because you can't do it alone. And I'll tell you this from someone who tried to do it alone, it doesn't work. When you try and do things alone, you fuck yourself over. And so I encourage all of you for being here because it's evidently a sign that you understand how important this idea is. Of connecting with other people. Of joining an AA group, if you will. The AA equivalent for business. Okay? Where my goal is to make this. The AA for business. Right? Or the PayPal Mafia for young entrepreneurs. Or the War Room for young entrepreneurs, etc., etc., etc. Right? To connect people. Because I think now more than ever, everybody lacks this. Right? Everybody lacks a group, lacks a community, lacks people around them to support them, to help them. But I think it's actually here where you may need it most, is people around you, supporting you, pushing you, right? Motivating you. And so my goal with this group is to facilitate an environment where we can help each other out like this. Where we can sit down, we can meet weekly, right? Just like AA does. We sit down in a circle like this, and people share their problems. And myself and everyone else will give advice and input. Okay? And we share our wins, right? When you get a win, you share your win. My goal is to make an actual community, right? A lot of people talk about, oh, building communities. And, okay, cool, we have a Discord, but what does that mean? Kick me out of here. How did that happen? Alrighty? But what does a Discord community actually mean? Right, let me leave this activity. How do I leave? I don't know how to leave this activity. Exit out. I don't know how to leave. How do I leave this? There we go. Beautiful. Okay? I've got a Discord community, cool. But I want this to be more than just a Discord community. Okay? I want this to be more than just a group online that people talk to each other. Like, I want this to be a genuine movement. A genuine place where people can actually connect and build friendships and build lifelong friends and build people around them that support their dreams and ambitions and goals. And a place where you feel comfortable sharing your issues, your troubles, your failures, your wins, right? A place where we can actually connect. I don't want this to just be another Discord group, right? Another one of the 50 groups you're already in, where every now and then you check it out to see if there's anything else you can get from it. Right? To see if there's some free resource the guy posted. Or see if there's some quick, fast way to make money. That's not my goal with this. Right? I don't want this to just be a place like that. I want it to be a real place where people are actually coming in, joining, and helping each other out. Right? Where let's say if you're traveling to Spain next month, you can make a post saying, hey, who here is in Spain? And you go meet up with a few guys in Spain. You guys go work together. Right? Or if you have... perhaps you know a lot about investing and you know there's a good investment coming up. You share that investment with everyone else, right? Or if you're struggling with something, you can post that in the chat and ask for advice, and not only myself, but everyone else in the group will come and join and give you advice. Leo, shut the fuck up. When people act stupid, you call them out. Okay? But that is my goal. I want to make that very clear so you guys can understand the goal so we can help do this together. Because here's the thing. As you just saw, I can't do this alone. I can't build this group by myself. I can't make something cool by myself. I can't. I will humbly admit that. There's a lot of things I can do. That is one of them I can't. Right? You can't have a good party by yourself. Try. It doesn't really work. Okay? The same way that you can't build a successful company by yourself. You can't build a successful life by yourself. You can do a good amount, right? There's a good quote, which is if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Right? You can do a good amount in a short period of time. Maybe you'll get somewhere alone. But if you really want to go far and you really want to do things big, you have to do it with other people. Right? You just have to. And so selfishly, I know that. And that's why this is a double-edged sword. Both good edges. Because I also understand that. Which is why I'm trying to create a group of people around me. Because I want to go far. And I can't do that alone, which is why I need you guys. Which is why I'm making this group. So that we can all help each other to the utmost extent in every aspect of life. Not just in business, okay? But also in other things, like relationships, okay? Like in fitness, like in health and wealth, you name it. All of us here are good at certain things. All of us. Right? And if you can't even admit what you're good at, that we have a problem to solve. Okay, but all of us here are good at something. Maybe you're not very good at the whole business thing. Maybe you're not very good at the whole sales thing or the communication thing or the whole product thing. But you're good at something. And the thing you're good at is of use to somebody else. Right? All of us are good at something that'll help each other out. And here's the thing. Maybe right now you suck at sales, you suck at outreach, you suck at appointment setting, you suck at communication, you suck at persuasion, right? But you are really, really, really good at onboarding. But maybe someone else is here, absolutely sucks at onboarding. They're amazing at sales, okay? But they suck at onboarding, and they can't get a client to stay for their life, okay? And then somebody else in here sucks at sales and onboarding, but is really good at getting results. Independently, each of you guys will fail forever into eternity, okay? You'll just perpetually fail. But together, you guys will be amazing. And that's the point I'm trying to make, is everybody here has skills. And everyone here has deficiencies. And by yourself, you're nothing. Me too. But together, you are everything. Together, you can conquer the world. Because something you're good at, someone else is bad at. And something you're bad at, someone else is good at. And so instead of trying to brute force your way through, hijack your way through. Leverage other people. Now, don't abuse them. But leverage them the same way they're going to leverage you. That's what networking is two people leveraging each other. Right? And like when you pay somebody, it's literally they're leveraging you for your money and you're leveraging them for the thing they're giving you. Same with networking, right? You may leverage this guy for the fact that he's really good at sales, and he may leverage you for the fact that you're really good at onboarding. You guys are both using each other, but you both feel good about it. Okay, because it's not a one-way. And that's what I want to make very clear is networking is two-way. It's a two-way street. And a lot of people always have this idea of take. I just want to get. But you got to understand, if you want to build a real network, you want to have an impact, you have to also give. It's a two-way street. Okay, it's a two-way street. You have to also give. And the more you give, the more you get. The more you give, the more you get. And I can't stress this enough. For some of you, it's like, I don't understand it. Stefan, like, I don't understand this idea of the more you give, the more you get. Right? It might be a hard idea to fathom. Right? It's like, how does that make sense? How does the more I give, the more I get? How does that even make sense? I've posted YouTube videos for over 7 years, I think now. Never really asked for anything for the first 7 years. Right? Just gave. And what was funny is before I even started asking anything of my audience, people start to ask me, hey, Stefan, do you do coaching? Do you do mentorship? Do you have a group? And when I realized I'd given so much that people felt they owed me something. They felt this sense of value coming from me to the point where they wanted to give me their time and attention, aka what you guys are doing now. You join this group. See, what's funny is, let me guess, you guys joined the group for your benefit, right? Right? You guys joined the group because you wanted to benefit from it. Guess what? You joining the group benefits me. You see? It's this equal exchange. It's an equal exchange where you felt like you were getting something from the group and so did I. Right? In return, I get the opportunity to expand my network, to give you more value, to build more trust with you, to hopefully help you out more, to build my network, to have your attention, etc., etc. And you joined to maybe get my attention or to get resources from me, etc., etc., etc. Right? But to circle back, the point I'm trying to make is I want to make it very clear the objective of this group. Right? I truly want to make this something that isn't just another little Discord group in the folders of all your hundreds of notifications going off, or another, community out of all the school ones you're in. Like, no. I want this to be something where you wake up and go, holy fuck, what's happening inside here today? How's everybody doing in there? Right? How's all my boys in here doing? Right? Who's new? Who can I welcome? Right? Who can I network with today? Who can I meet? Who can I provide value to? What lessons can I share to the group? Did I watch any cool videos other people might find valuable? Did I learn something new today that might help somebody else out? Do I have a question that I need help with? That is my goal. Right? Somewhere where you go to the same way that back in the day, right? Maybe you still have this group, but you'd go to your boys, or maybe you'd go to your mom and your dad, right? Something bad would happen, you'd run to your parents. A lot of us don't have that nowadays. We can't just run to our parents. And we can't really run to a group either because all the people around us don't see eye to eye with us. They see the world differently than we do. My goal is to bring that back. Bring that sense of belonging and that sense of tribe, that sense of brotherhood back to where when something's going on, you can run here, right? When you feel lost or sad or whatever, you hop in the huddle and there's 5 other guys waiting for you ready to chat, right? Or when you have a question, you just type it and within 10 minutes, you have 6 guys giving you their input on what you think they should do with their best interest at heart. That is the goal. That is the objective. That is what I'm trying to build. And I cannot do it alone. That's why I need you guys. That's why I'm trying to shed and share this message. And yes, selfishly, this is me indoctrinating you the same way that every single other person is. They're just not as open about it as I am. They'll just subtly do it casually behind all their YouTube videos, etc. I will openly admit that I and everybody else in this world is trying to indoctrinate you. The schools you go to, the podcasts you listen to, the music you listen to, the shows you watch, the people you talk to, everybody's fighting for your attention. And they're trying to indoctrinate you. There's a really good quote I heard, which is, if you are not paying for the product, you are the product. Let me ask you guys a question. Can we get some cameras on? If you have a camera, turn it on. Let's chat. Let's chat face to face. Human to human. Me to you. Okay? Me to you, bro. Thank you. For the rest of you, let's get some cameras bumping. Okay? I have a question for all of you in here. Who here pays to use Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube? Say aye and raise your hand if you do. How do you pay is my first question. Like, pay money.
With my time and attention.
Okay.
Verified.
I'm glad you guys are aware of that. But typically, okay, we're talking money. We're talking money. Okay, so none of us. Cool. So I'll say the quote again. If you do not pay for a product, you are the product. I want you guys to know this. The reason why YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Google, Facebook is all free is because you are the product. You are the thing that makes that company that company. If it weren't for you, that company wouldn't be a company. If it weren't for you, Facebook wouldn't be Facebook. They wouldn't be a multi-trillion-dollar company. They would not be. Same with Microsoft, Google, Alphabet, TikTok, etc. Because you are the product. You are literally their most valuable and prized possession. Think about that for a second. They value you so much that you are the product, yet you don't even value yourself enough. Think about it. Interesting. Okay? The point I'm making is everybody out here is fighting for your attention and fighting to indoctrinate you, to believe the way that they want you to believe. That is really what the school system was set up to do. Right? The school system wasn't set up to educate you. It was meant to indoctrinate you, to adopt a certain set of beliefs to make you a good worker. You can go down the rabbit hole and read all the quotes. Okay? The school system was not made to sit here and educate you. It was made to sit here and indoctrinate you, to adopt a certain set of beliefs to make you a good slave. That is actually the fundamental idea of what it was for. That's what it was built for. To indoctrinate you, to adopt those beliefs so you become a good worker. Why do you think there's very, very, very little collaboration, very little emphasis on communication and networking? Why do you think it's all standardized? Why is it you have to sit in a row, keep your mouth shut, raise your hand when you want to speak, right? You're only given a certain time to eat, and for 8 hours a day they tell you what to think. You have to be there on time. You leave when they tell you to leave. You be there when they tell you to be there. You eat when they tell you to eat. You go to the bathroom when they tell you to go to the bathroom. You can't just walk and go. You have to ask and then wait until you're told to go. And when you talk to your partner to ask for advice or a question, you get sent to the principal's office. Think about it, right? They're not trying to teach you something. They're trying to turn you into a good, obedient slave so that later down the line, when you graduate high school, you feel inclined to go to university. You know why? Because if you go to university, you get a good job, right? You know, my parents always said that to me, and rightfully so, because back in the day, that was true. As a matter of fact, there was a time where they were working at the bank and a huge recession hit, and all the people without a degree got fired, and people that had a degree got hired, even without any experience. So I looked it up. 17.8% of all jobs in America, only 17.8%, require a 4-year education. That means that over 82% of jobs in America do not even require a 4-year education. Yet we've somehow been indoctrinated this idea that if you get a degree, you're safe. How come most people that get degrees end up working at Amazon factories or fast food places, or working as a server, or starting at the bottom of the ranks in a corporate company? You know, when I got hired at the bank, I was in my second year of school, second year of university. No degree, no nothing. I was just in university. That's all I knew. For all they knew, I could just be lying, because I just told them that. They never even got to check it. Okay? Maybe they saw my grades, actually. I don't know. But I was hired, and not long after, there was another guy hired who was an MBA, who had not only completed the same degree that I was going for, but then also went to school for, I believe, 4 years after that to become an MBA. He got hired a little after me. I got promoted within the first, I think, 3 months. In my entire year of working, I don't think he even got promoted. He started at the same exact job position as me, working full-time. I was only working part-time. And I got increased. I got a raise. I got a promotion before he did, even though he had an MBA and I had nothing. And that is in a very corporate setting, being one of the biggest banks in all of Canada, perhaps the biggest. If that doesn't show you the ideas behind school, I don't know what does. And there's so much more. There's so many more rabbit holes we could dive into. And any of those, if any of those of you have watched my video about me starting a cult, you'll know the rest of this story and how deep it goes. But the point is that I am starting a cult. I'm building a cult. And I'm building a community, a tribe, a brotherhood, a mastermind. Call it whatever the fuck you want. But I need your guys'
The new
help.
Hamza.
Sure. The new Hamza. Except it's going to be primarily oriented around entrepreneurship, but I want it to be encompassing everything. Because I realize there's a lot more to life than just entrepreneurship. There's a lot more to it. And yes, that is the primary focus. That's the thing that we'll talk about most of the time. But I want you to understand that the goal with this is to really make a brotherhood. Is like truly. When you make a post saying, hey, I'm in Spain, you have 15 guys DMing you saying, yo, I'm in Spain, where you at? Right? And the goal is for them to all have nice cribs you can stay at because we all make money. That might be a bit more in the future, but I'm optimistic we can make that happen. But here's the thing. We can't make it happen alone. Okay? That's why we need each other. And that is my goal, is to facilitate an environment where that can happen. But I need your guys' help in every aspect. Okay? In giving, in receiving, in partaking, in whatever the case may be. In spreading the message. Right? There's 900 people in this group, and my very bad math says that there's 8 of us here, including me. I believe that's about 1%, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I am mistaken, but I believe it's 1% of people. Think about that. Where is the other 99%? Have you ever heard the saying 1%, 99%? Right? So, I don't know if I've ever made this very clear, but I've quit everything that I'm doing. Like, I've ran multiple agencies. I've done stuff on the side. I've quit everything to go all in on building this group. And, of course, there's a paid side to this, but even the free side, just as much. Okay? Because I understand the power of just having a community behind you. Right? Imagine if you went to war and you sat up there on your horse back in the olden days and you were the only guy going. How would you feel? Probably not very good. Yet a lot of us try and do that same war now. We try and get up on our high horse and charge into the battle with no one behind us. And then we wonder why we fail. We wonder why we died. We wonder why we got knocked off our horse so fast and didn't even make a dent in the other side. And that's because the other side had hundreds of thousands of millions of people, and we had no one. And so my goal is to try and give you people behind you, beside you, even in front of you. Right? Who, when you say, hey, let's go, you get on your high horse, so do they, and they charge into the battle with you. And the more people we have, the more successful you will be. Right? If you're fighting 100 men and you have 100 men, if you have one, not a chance. If you have 100, it's going to be a fight to the end. If you have 1,000,000, you walk over them. You don't even get scratched by it. Okay? And so the goal is to build this up to the point where you get on your high horse and so do 1,000,000 other people to the point where we just charge through and win. That's what I'm trying to build. And if it takes me 10 years, it takes me 10 years. If it takes me 100 years, it takes me 100 years. Doesn't matter to me because I know that it'll be worth it. Because I know that'll be the most important thing, especially, don't even get me started on the whole AI thing, especially with AI, right? We all know the rise of AI. Imagine when AI takes over jobs and everything. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's one really good quote. I forget who it's from, but he said that, I think it's from Elon Musk. He said, the biggest problem moving forward won't be making money. It'll be finding purpose in life. He said, eventually AI will come to the point where AI will do everything. Money will not be an issue, but finding purpose will be. Which is like, seems hard to believe now, but I believe that that will become true at some point. And so, especially with this rise of AI, it's even harder nowadays to find people to connect with because half the things we do are all automated, right? You go to the bank now and you're talking to an ATM. Next thing you know, just be a robot up there, taking your things. Next thing you know, you go talking for your retirement planning instead of a real person standing there. It's a fucking bot, right? Telling you, according to my calculations, this will be the best investment for you. Please give me your money and invest with me, right? That'll happen at some point. The more and more we go on, the more and more we lack real human interaction, real brotherhood, real tribes. I'm trying to bring that back because I'm noticing that we're losing it, and it's important. So yeah, that's my spiel on brotherhood, on the future of this community, and on everything in between. With that being said, I want to chat with you guys about everything and anything. Let's go open the chat. Just got to the gym. See ya. Awesome. So let's chat. You can, Leo, I'll unserver mute you. Unmute yourself. Turn your cameras on. Taha, Killian, Sebast. Turn your cameras on. Let's chat. Let's be humans for a minute. You know what?